love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. Don't stop, just give it up. And if you get in my way, you're gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math. When I hate, I attack. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't stop, just give it up.
Yes, hello, dear members, dear community members. I think this is gonna be a very light live today. I have a feeling that today is everybody too preoccupied with their favorite podcasts right now, trying to figure out what's going on, running around celebrating. The crash has been cancelled to the moon. So, hello Johnny, hello Casey, hello Investory. Who's that Investory person? Philip Fletcher, Leo Hill. Hello, sir. Bedwars Gang, of course. And yeah, it seems like that's mostly us. Hello to anybody else who will join as we go. Mircha. Ooh, Mircha. Oh my God, you're here? I thought that's it. You moved over to the DCA blindly camp. You just woke up. You're waking up. No money. No money. All right. So, okay, let's get this thing through. Look, the reality is that this FOMC meeting was somewhat uneventful. I'm gonna shut this thing down. All in all, it was pretty uneventful. We didn't really have. There were a lot of excuses. There was a lot of blame throwing and all that. But I guess everybody who watched it got the hang of whatever they think the instance is, and we're not gonna dismantle it right now. First of all, because we don't have the examples here, and I think it's a bit useless. And we're gonna focus on the technical analysis as we normally do. Did Paul give us the wrong burger, the nothing burger? Actually, I mean, I gotta admit, it pretty much correct on point, Mircha, saying a nothing burger. It really is a nothing burger. If you really observe the price action of today, so again, we opened up with a gap from the 18th, right? Opened up today with another tiny gap on the lower end, and so the closure of this gap was kind of expected. We expected partially that move to the upside to complete this. We actually spoke about this. We in fact have another gap right here around 57.41, which I believe with the almost said something wrong. It's not. It's around 5770 and 5705. So about $70, $65 there. That in my humble opinion, based upon JP's testimony today, and with the bullish momentum and how that's going to be digested tomorrow, I really think that it's going to allow the market to complete that movement that I was saying in the first place towards that 5800. You can kind of see it on the screen, right? In fact, in the beginning, it was kind of moving along, whether maybe I drew it afterwards, I'm not sure. Point being, we kind of had this in the anticipation of this in the first place. And so this is normal. Again, we were expecting a bullish impulse. This ended up kind of providing the fuel for it. It's still very, very tame and very slow. Could take till tomorrow that the market will digest today's meeting and we'll decide whether it's bullish or bearish. And today we're going to follow the technical analysis and see what is expected to happen tomorrow, pardon me, according to today's outcome, if you will, right? You can kind of see this was the original drawing where we said that's going to be roughly the price action there, right? Let's see what we're saying. 5 minutes. Even the 5 minutes is kind of redundant at this stage because we're about to, finish this session in about 15 minutes. So it's it really is redundant. Upside. So I would say going above. So right now it's, pardon me, 1 second, boys and girls. Sorry for that. Of course, I'm gonna get an episode of coughs as I'm doing the live. Prior to that, it was fine. But based on this, I would say we were maybe just gonna sort of meet this high that we were at before. Basically, just cross 5,700. Maybe retest it towards the end of the session. That's kind of meaningless. That is the 5 minutes. 30 minutes. What is 30 minutes saying? 30 minutes is saying bullish, just like we expected. Crossing over into overbought territory, which means probably tomorrow will be even more bullish than what we had towards the end of the session, which was sort of this price action, which is sort of still a part of a bullish impulse. It just sort of broke down into partitions. The market goes up, corrects, continues to go up until we get to the checkpoint, until we squeeze out all that bullish momentum that we have in the system. Until then, we're going to be running up, right? That's part of the thesis. Right now on the 45 minutes bullish, just as expected, fits the narrative perfectly, continuing to run to 57.99, 58 if you wish. Remember, we also said we could make it to 59, although I am very skeptical about this because, as we're going to see, most of these time frames reflect the bullish momentum running out. So we still do have some left over, but remember, we still have some ways up to go and potentially retest that level. I don't think what we're looking at is basically a breakout above the 5,800. Let's see, and we'll actually see why. If we're going to look again at 4 hours, we already are squeezing overbought volume, and as you know, there is a limited amount of time how we can run also hot before starting to correct. So basically, we are not there yet, but we're one step in the grave with this upwards trend, okay? At least on the 4 hours structure. If we're looking at the daily structure, which if it will be nice and give it to me. Thank you. I appreciate it. Again, very similar narrative that sort of fits what we were predicting in the first place. So upwards momentum, slowing down. You can see that through the curve that is starting to occur. Basically slowing down of that momentum towards the resistance, which is on the stochastic RSI would be 80. If able to penetrate above the 80 range, we'll get this accelerated bullish momentum. So it's not going to be all that surprising if that bullish momentum that is in the overbought territory, if even achieved, will be spent and wasted on just kind of retesting right above that 5,800, potentially maybe starting to push us over towards the median that is very, very, very nearby. So that gives it roughly about 58.92, which again, if completed, that's basically the same thing as saying 59. It's with a bit of a slippage. 58.95, a bit of slippage, only $5, you get 59. So again, you can see 59 is still doable, but very borderline difficult. Okay, very borderline, very much so difficult, because we until then gonna run out with whatever we see that we're already running out of. The part of that bullish momentum that we're seeing is that convergence divergence. So basically a relief rally. We can see on the weekly we are in oversold territory, but you can see the convergence divergence, which meaning the weakening of the bearish momentum and strengthening of the bullish momentum. Again, under this structure and the conditions, and under the fact that it's only the week time frame, sure, there will be that corrective movement that we just spoke about, potentially all the way to that, whether it was the bottom of their channel or the median of previous channel, or the bottom of this current channel. As you can see, we're out of bounds, right? You can kind of see we broke out of the channel, and what we're saying, if you noticed, basically the very same spot that I highlighted right here on the daily, if you see, and in fact I'm going to show you that very spot, that median, right? You see I'm going to make it yellow so it stands out. That very median on the daily channel, okay, is the bottom of the weekly channel. So they kind of coincide and really make sense. So, but the problem is we really are running out of bullish momentum. I mean, they will really have to put a lot of effort into this, which totally makes sense. If we're overturning and slowly the channel is basically becoming bearish, sure, we will have highs, but there will be lower highs. And unsurprisingly so, the most potential spots match up on most larger time frames and indicate that there will be some potential turning point, right? Or at least a point where the price action will struggle and will get entangled with the resistance there and potentially even fail. This doesn't change. In fact, it's getting worse. The monthly is open. We see clear divergence between the forces. If you are more of a bullish person, what you want to be seeing is a convergence of the forces, basically more likelihood of the bullish momentum overtaking, and that's not the case. In fact, you can almost see they're not even parallel. They literally are opening up like a megaphone, which indicates the strengthening of this downwards trend that is currently occurring. And so it actually is looking worse with every single day. I gotta admit it, the monthly basically, as it adjusts to the current price action, looking worse and worse somehow. Although it's supposed to be looking better because it's retracing on itself. And so actually somehow it looks even worse. Maybe because of time, and so the angle, although time didn't change anything. What am I talking about? I don't know. I have no idea. It just looks worse to me. It is what it is. Anywho, that's it. We're kind of seeing the very same stuff we saw from before. Market has a little bit more left over of bullish momentum to push up potentially towards the 5,900, but that seriously looks difficult as is. Right now we're looking at 58 as our sort of near-term target, and then we want to assess how much bullish momentum we have left over in all of these time frames when we actually achieve the first checkpoint that is nearby. Some people may think that we will even break as we match that ceiling of the channel. I would argue that what we have here is a lot more, and so potentially what we're going to have here is that negative wedge or something of this sort. Basically, yeah, that makes a lot more sense, far quicker, a lot steeper. That's the way it should look like. And so, yeah, my rough sketches, my assessments towards the outside, I'm sorry that I make them so prolonged, but I do it this way so you guys can really understand what it is I'm trying to draw, and not just make a bunch of narrow lines. Also, the less narrow it is, the more visible it is on the larger time frames. I guess I'm just going to remove that. That's redundant. There's too much noise on the screen. But yeah, you get the idea. So, and also subsequently, of course, you see that the market is reacting and we're having... Look, if you're looking at this way, you may be dancing around right now and being happy. Oh, look, it's a bullish day. Or then you can just zoom out a little bit and realize it's basically flat. You haven't done anything. Right? It's the very same channel, very same support and resistance levels. And so Be wary that from here on out, it appears to be that the trend will be continuing to draw lower, whether it's in most... the only thing that really just kind of caught me by surprise is how low Tesla gone, simply because it's just, I mean, it just plowed through so many support and resistance levels so very quickly without any effort, and I'm just surprised that the market didn't retest yet, given the sentiment with the buy the dip sort of thing. It really does appear very negative for Tesla. As Tom said it the other day, it's self-induced, and true, absolutely. And a little bit of noise from here and there, generally speaking, but we can argue that most of this noise ends up coming from Elon being in the DOJ in the Doge department, and so his sentiment, his narrative, his behaviors, you name it, all sorts of excuses, right? I mean, we knew the market is going to be very, very much in pain, and we also knew that the sentiment right now and the way sort of things work out, it's going to affect more significantly. Companies who have bad sentiment to them right now will be affected more severely than other ones. And Elon really couldn't have found a worse time to pull his regular shenanigans and really misbehave. He really needs to be calm and collected and pragmatic. And I like how everybody just blames it on his supposed Asperger's. I just think he's socially awkward. That's all it is. I really don't think he has Asperger's. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not claiming one way or another. This is not sort of, exposing and he should. No, I just think he's socially awkward. That's all it is, right? And part of his awkwardness is doing some weird things that people misunderstand sometimes. Some of you probably understand what I'm talking about and taking things out of proportion. What he's doing with Doge, he's doing very well. Again, he is streamlining, cleaning up, cleaning house. He's doing the Palantir job for the US government, if you will, the actual government, not the military, the actual government. He is making the system run more efficiently, oiling up, lubricating whatever gears were not lubricated in a while, basically making sure the mechanism is running smooth. And improving on whatever was broken and hidden, dirty little secrets that were hidden by the previous administration, if you will, and just things that should have made cleaned up and reorganized a while back, and finally somebody's taking care of it. It's pretty neat. In fact, people, instead of hating him, should be liking him. But ironically, obviously, people are not smart enough to see that he is a positive addition, and everything he does at the end of the day, well, again, not everything, but everything is done from a good place, I would argue, and has the best intentions. Not, how do we say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? And I'm sure he's gonna make some mistakes, but you better find somebody who makes, a 99 correct moves and one wrong one. That's fine. In fact, even if it's 90 correct moves and 10 wrong ones, that's fine. No one is perfect. Not everything we will try and do and plan will work out the way we want it to. That's life. As long as he is more positive than negative, and significantly so, if the ratio of 10 to 90, I would just be very satisfied and happy that the government has somebody like Elon to even get involved and do this hard work. That's just my opinion. I have a lot of beef with Elon lately. He's done a lot of dumb things recently. But I do think things are being taken out of proportion, and Tesla has been driven far too low with regards to its stock price. And there is some room for correction. In my humble opinion, it's roughly around between 300, 333, maybe with a very, very strong slippage momentum, maybe 350. There is the original thesis of 400, but I really struggle to see that. In fact, I feel like I'm being super generous with 333 and even 350 and even 333, as I've said. So basically, I'm being super generous because I do think the market drew down so much so that if this temporary corrective movement will dwell for longer, basically take several weeks, we might, on some really good news, get a positive impulse. For at this point, it will require a very positive impulse. It might be stretched out for a couple of weeks, though. That's the only way to achieve it, in my opinion, because of how low the price has gone. But it's too low. At the same time, relative to the progress of the downtrend that we're having on the indices, this has been far too rapid. And so I'm expecting a corrective movement, but then again, I got to admit that this still is very much dependent on Elon's behavior. And if tomorrow he comes out and says something even crazier or does something that is so negative, narrative-wise towards him, just throw out everything I just said and we're just going to move sideways within a very narrow, very low channel around the 250, 30 handle, 60, 250, 30, 40, that kind of range. And so yeah, that's kind of how I'm seeing things with regards to Tesla individually, right? We still are expecting a corrective movement. It's just that with every day it seems to be struggling more and more. Remember, struggling or not, there is far more likelihood for the stock to move slightly higher simply because of that carryover effect from the indices, because the indices are expected to be moving more in a bullish fashion in the upcoming days. That kind of entails most assets, most of the market, right? Does it include everything? No, of course not. But obviously, as we can see, the vast majority of the market is fine. Healthcare is a little bit red today, maybe. Consumer non-durables, various Nikes, Schmikes, and all sorts of stuff. But generally, the market is relatively positive today, and I feel that based upon what we've seen today, we're gonna see that in the upcoming sessions. But it's not going to be long-lived. And remember, we've said this in the beginning of this corrective rally, if you will, is that it's going to be enough to convince the retail, the average person in the market, that from here on out to the moon. And I bet very shortly we're going to hear exactly that sort of sentiment. The crash has been canceled, to the moon, and all sorts of things of that sort. And Greg, you're wrong, you don't know anything, and blah, 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 blah. And then, as you will hear that, probably within several days after that, the market will start correcting. Just saying. Leo Hill, ring, 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 ring. Guys, smash the like. Absolutely, ring the bell, smash the like, subscribe to the Patreon, join the community. Because I gotta tell you guys, boys and girls, those who will watch it later, because I have a feeling that those who are watching right now are up to speed. But we were talking and discussing all these things in the community. We were doing a watch party of the Fed meeting. We were slightly discussing it afterwards, making fun of the meeting afterwards, of course. And in general, the whole sentiment, the whole breakdown of what the market is doing, how it's behaving, all sorts of other cool stuff. Of course, you'll be always up to speed on my opinion and analysis and why and how. Mainly the why. The why is the most important bit, because the how, it's cool, but with the why, you understand whether it's more probable or less probable, makes sense, doesn't make sense. That's kind of important if you ask me. So this little bit was more so for the members who'll watch later. And another final notice and a reminder before we go our separate ways for today. I promise you I'll make an effort to make tomorrow's live a little bit more interesting. It's just we got carried over a little bit late, missed most of FOMC meeting, and well, I'm sorry to hear that, Mama, but you'll be able to, of course, rewatch the meeting. It's online. The discussion, sadly, I did not record it, but we'll probably be discussing it again and again, and everything that was said today will be said again. That is pretty certain. And yeah, really important final note is before I jump off is that I still have that one final spot for the Technical Analysis Academy, in which I teach you one-on-one how to analyze the market on your own, not to be dependent on anybody, to be independent properly. How to reach out to me, it's very simple. When you join the Discord, the Discord link is Discord/investor. I mean, you'll know all that. It's exactly as such. Discord.gg/investory, right? Definitely join us. And if you want to inquire about the one-on-one Technical Analysis Academy. You have this open a support ticket. So you just open a ticket and you tell me that you're interested in the information about the one-on-one academy, and I'll share it with you. And then if you choose to go and participate, of course, we'll get you signed up. There's only one final spot left. And if it's not going to be taken in the upcoming days, I'm simply going to lock the academy prematurely. And, you know, cry me a river to whoever missed it. And whenever the market will start breaking again, everybody's going to be flocking to the channel, trying to get a spot on the academy to understand why the market is dropping. The academy will be full, so don't miss out. Definitely sign up ASAP, or if you don't feel like this is necessarily for you yet, you can join the Discord via the Patreon. You join the Patreon, then you join the Discord, you get access. You have all the instructions right here on the left. Click me. This is how you join the Discord, all the beautiful stuff. My members, my poor members, are already tired of hearing that same old bullshit of how you join the Discord. But I'm sorry, boys and girls, it's important for the newer members. It's important for the community to grow. I know it's boring. That's the boring bit. For you, the community members, also, I don't think there's too much to say that you don't know about, that we haven't predicted yet. We are all anticipating for the market to continue, finish up this rally, and when the market will start getting that, you know, to the moon sentiment, and it's going to be all over the place, when it's going to just strengthen, that's when the market will start reversing. And basically, again, it is a bull trap. Of course, it needs to entrap the bulls. It needs to convince them that there is a rally coming after this. There's, you know, there's more money to be made, right? Basically, amplifying or solidifying the greater fool theory in the market and giving it that sentiment. And so the dip buyers, once they run out of money and sellers will overtake, the market will do its normal spiel, will continue down. We know what the target is, roughly around 5,400. Afterwards, of course, we will continue with, you guys probably know the support and resistance levels. We know exactly what we're looking for. We're looking, of course, at, I think it's 5,100-ish area, to 5,000, then 4,800, we know. So gradually dropping. That's it, boys and girls. Today we're not going to do tickers. And just that, again, this was a little bit later than I was planning on. And I don't think today's market is going to be a good place to judge anything. I want the market to sort of come to an agreement, I guess, right? You know, tomorrow, when we will more so digest what everything that happened today, and then we'll see real price action. And then we're going to go over the tickers as well. 333. That's an interesting point, actually. It's funny enough to think. I mean, you're right. I mean, I haven't thought about that one in a while. But yeah, you're right. Because I mean, if our target is 3,300, on the way there we inevitably pass through 3,300, 33. And we know that any of these numbers, and especially that one, is multi-powerful. Yes, we will end up testing that one as well. I just wonder how long, because at that stage we'll be so close to the super important range we're achieving there. We've been waiting to see, and so it's going to be interesting. Maybe we're going to get stuck up on it on our way up. Another thing, don't forget, we will retest it twice, basically, at least a bare minimum. If not dwell on it months on end. In fact, Mama, we're going to remember this and you're going to say, remember I wrote 3,333? When we're going to be spending months on end retesting that level. And I will say, yes, I remember. You cursed us with this level. I'm already predicting the future of the conversations we'll have, let alone the analysis. You see? This is how far of an analysis I can do. The conversations, not just the market. Alrighty, boys and girls, that was fun. Tomorrow is going to be a lot more fun. Today was more of a nothing burger, really. I mean, it was the analysis was fun and all that. The hangout with you guys was fun. But really, I hate to admit and agree with Mircha. I think Mircha said this. There was a nothing burger. Yes, right? No. Yeah, no, it's a nothing burger. Absolutely. At the end of the day, if you sort of look to days prior to today and compare to then what we've made, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Mircha, props to you. We've just moved sideways. We spent 3 days on doing nothing. My pleasure, boys and girls, nannies. Thank you very much. Much love. Thank you all the various helpers I have. You guys, without you, this would have been just miserable hell. You're all awesome friends. Thank you all to the new community members, to the old community members, OGs, founders, academy. All of you guys are awesome. Without you, this community would have not existed. It would have been just me ranting at at the wall, so to speak. And so all of this is thanks to you as much as it is, my part as well. I love you all, and I'll see you on the Discord and or on the next one. Bye for now.